Well, I have a different theory on that one too, BGS.
Go
But
ahead. Go ahead.
well,
Speak
because
on it.
I think at the end of the day, they're fine with black men breeding. They're just not trying to breed black people. So you black men can breed out with every other race of women that they like in an
Mm-hmm.
effort to continue the population because the white population has a failing fertility rate. So they get some black men over there that pop a couple of babies in them,
Yeah,
start
but
regenerating their birth rate,
oh,
not
their birth
necessarily the
rate.
black
Oh,
community.
okay. Well, that's getting seed from a black man is easy.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Well, hey, that's where y'all trained us. Hey, you trained us not to have standards.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly, BGS.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
So, what standards are black men supposed to have?
You know, we've had this discussion in
No,
pieces before,
no.
but
Let's not put it in pieces. Let's put it all together.
I think that at the end of the day, your standards are based on you as an individual, right?
No, no, it's
The
not.
community as a collective is going to impose
No,
things upon you, right? As a
no,
man or a woman.
no, 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 no. There's no such. Everybody, that individual stuff is bullshit. 100% hogwash bullshit.
It's a
Okay.
combination of it's a
Mm,
combination of collective action and individual choice making. There is
So
a combination. It's
just
not purely collective.
just like each atom of air is an individual. Okay. But it acts as a collective. There's a certain characteristic that each atom has of oxygen has, even though you can't predict what one molecule, one atom of oxygen, where it's going to be and what it's going to do. It's random. But when we bring them all together, 99% of them are going to do the same thing.
Yes
Human
and
human
yes and
human
no.
human beings, 99% of what human beings do in a society are exactly the same thing. Otherwise, you couldn't have a community. You couldn't have a society.
BG, I believe in collectivism, right? I think that as a community, we're a collective. We have to think in collective ways. However,
As,
there is still individual choices attached.
like what? Give me one.
You can think about a person like me who came from a broken home, a broken community,
Mm-hmm.
grew up in the projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every
Mm-hmm.
single woman in my family had children by 16.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make any of those choices. So there's still individualism attached. Of course, there's the collective piece of what you know and
You,
what you've been
so so you so
ingrained.
you so you're an outlier, right?
Yes, it's an outlier, but all
what about the vast majority of the women in your circle, in your family?
yes, there's still individual choices attached to their decision making, however,
Mm-hmm.
BGS. Like at the end of the day, your
Mm-hmm.
community is about 85% of who you are because that's going to help
Mm-mm.
drive your mentality
Mm-mm.
and your
Mm-mm.
but there's a 15% piece
Mm-mm.
that is your
Mm-mm.
individual
Mm-mm.
decision making.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
Mm-mm. What
Absolutely.
language do you speak, babe?
I speak English.
Okay. How many people in the United States speak English that are native born?
Well, all of us do.
All of us.
Yes.
We all went through a public school system, did we not? Like 90% of us, right?
BGS, that's not the same. Come
Yes,
on
it
now.
is. Yes, it is. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. When you looking from this side, yeah. Basically, until I really started reading old feminist literature, then listening to the young men that were coming to my hangout and that thought they were fucking individuals and figured out and then read back in literature. Okay, they programmed this into you.
No, I don't think that we are individual as, we're individualistic people. I don't believe that. I believe that we are collective. What I'm saying is there are individual choices attached to each
Of course.
individual,
Yeah, but
right?
in other words, there's a range of choices that you can have. Who determines the range?
The society as a
The
whole
society. So in
determines.
other words, who has the broadest range of likes and dislikes as far as men are concerned?
Well, perhaps, I don't know. Perhaps
Black men, because who has the broadest range of broad body types of any group of women?
oh, black women, yes,
Black women.
definitely.
So basically, for your group of men to accept you and the broad range of skin colors, body types, and all that kind of stuff, basically you have to have a broad range of standards.
Yes.
So basically, we black men will accept anything from a blue black fat woman to a high yellow, tall, skinny, light skinned woman with green or blue eyes, right?
Yes, I guess
Yes.
technically,
So
yes.
basically, it's a huge range. So basically, our community, our community, our society taught us to actually be able to accept a broad range of body types, skin colors, hair textures, all that stuff, right? So basically, as far as as far as having what we call the no standards, as they say, because that's what because every race, every group of men say black men have no standards because black men, they say black men will actually mate, date, and sleep with anything virtually.
I don't know how that equates to choosing mates outside of your
So,
community.
so if we have no standards and we have a very this humongous range, it's very easy for us to choose somebody outside of our community because at the end of the day, guess what? It's all pink in the end, is it not? And that's what
I'll
we've
let
been
you
taught.
tell it. I
That,
don't
that
know.
that's the way we have been taught. It's all pink, you know.
That's a very I just feel like that's a very low threshold to place on
It,
black men.
well, but black men admit it.
Oh, that's unfortunate to me.
It
That's
might
like
be.
saying that black men are like, just incapable of making good decisions. And I don't believe that. The black men I know make good decisions. So
What
what you're saying
so
is like
what's a good decision? What is a good decision? That's because it's relative.
as it relates to partners,
Yeah, what's a good decision?
they're selecting quality women, black women of
Okay,
quality.
so in other words, if so is it every black man?
No, of course not. It's not. Of course not.
So in other words, what happens to the 30-40% of women that are not quality?
Well,
Depending on how you determine what quality is.
well, yeah. I mean, somebody's taking them, right? So
Somebody's taking them. So in fact, we they straight shooter just had a video on this because they rag on black men for uh, uh, having sex with fat white women. Right. So how could you disgustingly have sex with fat white women? I said, have you seen the black women that black men have had sex with?
but that's completely different, BGS, and you know it.
Why? Why?
If you want to have sex with fat women, 62% of black women are overweight. So
So
go get you a fat black woman. You
so
don't have
what?
to go over there and get fat Molly.
So basically, what you're trying to say is that that the black men who have no standards should be altruistic, right?
What I'm saying is, I don't believe that your perception of black men having no standards, I don't believe is accurate. I believe that black men may have
I, I,
fewer
I'm
standards because
I,
they have more options.
I'm a black man. I have friends that have no standards.
You think that lowly of your black male friends, BGS?
As far I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna be
Okay.
blunt because you're very proper, but I'm gonna be blunt. When it comes to pussy, black men have no standards. I'm serious because I've looked at partners who are actually fairly good looking, right? And what he thinks is attractive, it's like, dude, are you serious? And that's to catch me out of him. And it doesn't, and skin color doesn't matter because if the women that he picks, whether they're Asian, whether they're white, whether Hispanic, they basically the only thing he's changing is skin color because they all look the same.
Well, I'm not a man, so I obviously can't speak for men, but that's a very, to me, that speaks volumes. If we're saying that black men have no standards when it comes to sex, are we saying that other men have no standards when they come to sex? Because we can't say just because black men have more options that they're just willing to sleep with anything. I think that
That's
speaks lowly of black men to me.
we have been socialized to think that we have been socialized because if that was the case, then a lot of black women would get rejected. But how many black women? How many black women, no matter what shape they're in, what kind of condition they're in, think they're going to get rejected by black men?
No, I agree with that. I think that
So, in other words, if a low standard black woman that's ratchet, no teeth, whatever it is, and there's a black man that will have sex with her, what is she going to think about black women? Black men will have sex with anything. So,
I've
but do you think we think that there's going to be a little electric fence that said you can have no standards inside your group, but when you cross over the fence, then all of a sudden you're not supposed to screw any white women.
Well, I guess you're right. If the perception of black men, you as a black man are saying that, hey, we don't have standards as it when it comes to sex, we'll have sex with anyone, then I guess you're right. I guess that answers the question.
Why you think white women that are not accepted in their community cross to go over to the ghetto to get a black man because um uh, uh that little black boys are raised like that. Who think where do you think we learned this from?
Do you think they're raised like that in
Yes,
within their community,
yeah, yes.
or do you think it's because of how systematically black men have been
Do
conditioned or treated in this society
do
that
do
they feel that they don't have an
do you
option? They just
do
have to
do
take what they can
do
get.
do, do black women shame each other for how they look?
Yes.
I mean, if they're overweight, when I've been in person, I've been online, and trust and believe, the woman could be butt ugly and be fat. Those black women will still defend her.
I don't agree with that. I think that's in pockets.
Yeah,
I think what you're seeing online, to be honest, like what we see online is not a true representation of what happens in
yeah.
everyday.
Well,
I don't think,
it matches up with my life
because
experience.
there are a lot of people online that in the real world it's not the same. I just
Yeah,
I
well, I've had plenty of ugly,
the,
plenty of
the
not
black
not
women in
pl-
my
pl-
circle.
plenty of non-attractive black women, plenty of them non-attractive black women, because they can get a few guys to have sex with her, think that she's a 10. She's not a 3, she's a 10. And then
That's online, BGS. That's
no,
not
no, no,
real.
no, no, I'm talking about in person. No, I'm not talking about online. I'm talking about in person. In person, before, well before we had social media exploded. I'm talking about in person. You gotta remember, I'm not
Hmm.
30 years old. I'm darn near 60. This is well before the internet had all this kind of stuff. This social media just blew up over the last 10 or 15 years. Okay,
Hmm.
and the social media is basically the social media game didn't get ramped up until MySpace and Facebook. So this explosion of social media over the last 10 or 12 years basically is just revealing what was already there. I saw this stuff in person, man, 30, 40 years ago.
But I think what you're speaking of is the fact that black women are protective of one another, which I think is
Mm.
okay, right? We are protective of our sisters, like, and I don't think
Yeah,
there's anything wrong with that.
nothing wrong with that. But
But saying,
what are you telling your boys as far as standards?
well, I guess when you look at it that way, as far as those who are raising male children, are they saying that you have to accept whatever? But I
Yeah.
don't know if I see it that way, because the black women that I know, that I interact with, we run, we're in shape. We have
Hmm.
it's a completely different dynamic, right? Because that's
Hmm.
what's expected in our group of
In your
cohort.
group, what I'm saying is,
But
are is your group an outlier, or is basically every black woman that's in in your area doing the same thing?
no, I mean it's their pockets, right? It's nobody's a monolith, so they're
No.
definitely going to be.
So is your pocket a big pocket or a small pocket?
Um,
Come on now, come on now, come on now. You ain't getting out of this one. You in it. You're in it. You're in it. Come on now.
it's a small pocket,
It's a
yes.
small pocket. Yeah, I know. In
One
other
hand or
words,
two hands.
Char, you know those old 5 pocket jeans, that little coin pocket right at the top?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how big that pocket is.
I'm not messing with y'all. I still go back to my original point, BGS,
Uh-huh.
that saying that black men have no standards because, and they'll sleep with everything. I think that to me speaks
I
lowly of
did,
black
did
men.
you
I do believe that.
did you ever see that video that I showed when that chick was wrestling that dude and said he ain't got no freedom, and she looked like a linebacker, and
Oh yes.
you remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Kira. So what do you so Toots, what do you think about that one?
I'm not taking away from the fact that we have conditioned our men to some degree to believe that they have to accept whatever because that's our idea of beauty. But when you think about it, most black men are attracted to women who are curvier than they would be in outside of the black community. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So some of that is a little bit of our innate cultural pieces,
We
right? You know
we
what I mean?
Black men are taught to be are actually taught and socialized to be very very sexual, very very sexual. Black men are actually teased if they don't have sexual prowess. They're not picked if they don't have sexual prowess. Sexual prowess, uh, um, looks, and sexual prowess for black women, as far as choosing a mate, is number one. Sexual prowess. If the black man does not have sexual prowess, he's going to be shunned. So basically, that is emphasized not only by the men but also by the women. And the women, even though they try to throw the rock and hide their hand, that's what they talk about. You know,
Hmm.
black women talk about dick sizes more than men do.
That's not true. You
They,
guys, that's not. I don't sit up
how,
with my
how
female
many?
friends and talk about penises. That
How,
is not accurate. I'm telling you, what you guys are
mm,
experiencing from the male perspective, and
mm,
Char and Nicole are on the
mm,
hangout. They can
mm,
speak. Like we do
okay.
not sit up and just talk about
Okay.
penis sizes. I've
Okay.
never like sat up with my friend and said, "Let's talk about the size of."
No, no. And
I've never done that.
what happens when they get something that's too small? What do you think about him, girl? And they, you know how they put the two fingers together and it gets too small.
I've never. I'm gonna defer because I'm not super sexually experienced. So, but I have never sat up with my friends and had a conversation about
Oh,
that. Never,
Jesus.
never. I
Jeez.
don't know. Char, help me out here. I know I'm.
Jeez. Okay.
Sorry,
Um,
I'm a little
mm,
guilty, so I'm sorry I can't,
It wasn't the fingers, it was both hands moving closer
closer,
together.
yeah.
It was
What I'm not I'm not saying I'm not saying that that's wrong. Okay, black women are entitled to like what they like. Black women uh, want a man that they want a man that in fact, who was it? It was a what if she was a matchmaker? She was a black matchmaker. In fact, there's more than one matchmaker. She said it, but there's other matchmakers that said it. That unfortunately, uh, um, a guy could have character, he could have education, he could have money, he could have ambition, but if he doesn't have a certain amount of sex appeal,